Bill Bartmann. Thanks for joining me. I want to talk to you now about publicity versus advertising. And I think we all know what advertising is. Advertising is when you pay someone to tell the world about your products or services, and with the hope that maybe the customer out there will find you and want to buy your product. Well, publicity or public relations is when that same thing happens, only doesn't cost you anything. And I would argue that it's even more effective. Now, as they say in the trade, advertising is something you pay for, and public relations is something you pray for. Let me tell you some of the differences between the two. And public relations is so much better because it has these four elements going for it. It's more cost effective for the very simple reason it doesn't cost you anything, whereas advertising can, as they say, cost an arm and a leg. It has greater longevity. An advertisement typically is, whether it be an ad in the newspaper, or a spot on radio, or a spot on TV, it's kind of in the memory of the customer for a few seconds, and then it's gone again. Whereas a good public relations campaign keeps your name out there time and time again. The third thing, it has a far wider audience. Public relations isn't viewed as an advertising. And because it isn't viewed as advertising, people accept it and they find it in places where you wouldn't even think of finding advertising. And the last one is the credibility factor. Public relations comes, again, from a non-advertising perspective. So the community, the customer, the people who are looking to it or seeing it, look at it as some newsworthy event. They think it's something that isn't being biased by some compulsion to sell. So those four reasons are the great reasons why I want to encourage you to start developing a public relations campaign for your company. There are 9 steps to what I consider an effective publicity campaign. And here's the first one. You have to create or write your own positioning statement. And that positioning statement is, who are you and what do you want them to see, or what do you want them to think when they come in contact with your name? Because if you don't have a clear vision of the image you want to create in their mind's eye before you even start, then quite frankly, the odds of you being able to create an effective one are greatly, greatly reduced. So step number 1 is you have to identify to yourself, and then to the people that are going to help you with your PR campaign, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want the community to see you as or think of you as when they think of your name? That is crucial to this whole operation. So step number 1, think of your positioning statement. Step number 2 is it's now imperative that you list your objectives. What are you really trying to accomplish? And position 1, or step number 1, was your positioning statement of how will they view you. But now you're trying to look at more basically, what are you really trying to accomplish? And we'll boil it down to one of 2 basic questions. Are you trying to get publicity for fame, or are you trying to get it for fortune? Now, I'm not opposed to either one of those, but they're remarkably different. If you're just trying to get notoriety, if you're just trying to get your name out there, if you're just trying to have people become aware of you and hoping that will have some marketing value, and sometimes it has great marketing value, then you're doing it for, as we'll call it, fame. But if instead you have a way of connecting the cash register to this public relations event, then now you have PR with a purpose. You have PR that's going to happen not just to make you a household name, although that may be exactly what you're really after, but more important than that, it's going to make you a household name where the cash register is going to ring when people hear and think of your name. So you need to identify very clearly what it is you're trying to accomplish with this publicity campaign. Step number 3, you need to narrowly define your customer. I mean, the same is true of advertising, and so you shouldn't expect it to be any different in public relations. You don't want to waste anything. In the advertising world, you have to be very, very careful that you have narrowly defined your customer so that you can pick the right media. You can pick whether it be magazine or TV or newsprint or whatever it might be, so that you're fishing in the right pond. Well, in the public relations world, it's exactly the same way. Now, remember, we're not paying for it here. Here we get it for nothing. But who do you want to see this publicity that you're going to generate? If it isn't going to the right audience, what good did it do? It's simply wasted. So you need to be able to narrowly define who you want to see this publicity campaign so that as you create it, you're making sure that you're putting it in front of the right audience. Because again, putting it in front of the wrong audience may have been a fun exercise to go do, but it won't produce many rings on the cash register. So number 3, make sure you narrowly define who your customers really are and how you're going to touch them or reach them with this publicity campaign.